I love dragons and death, cause they are fun. Okay, so this chapter is it's kind of sad, for a few things. One thing, first off, like they're at Castle Stark, but I'm gonna backtrack a little bit because when King Bobby, like Baratheon, rolls in and stuff, like everybody's big pimping. There's like 350 knights and stuff. They got like the big old like royal RV that won't even fit through the gate, but it's showing that they have a giant stag, and they mention he wears an antlered helmet. So jumping back to the dire wolf, that was killed with the antler through its like under its jaw and stuff. Maybe that was when he was talking with Caitlyn and stuff about how Ned doesn't look into importance or whatever, it's symbolism. Also, I completely blanked on part of that conversation between Ned and Caitlyn where they were talking about the direwolf and stuff, and then wildlings came up and he mentioned Mance Rider, from Beyond the Wall, and he was talking about how the Night's Watch is dwindling and it's not all just desertions, and that Mance Rider might be getting powerful, like he's up there like what doing wildling stuff. And Ned actually tells Caitlyn, like, I just have to squad up with a bunch of the homies, get up there, and then wipe them out, and that, I just completely missed that part when I was talking about it. But yeah, so there's like a wildling kind of king up there who's like uniting tribes and stuff named Mance Rider. But, we skip back to the point, and it's important to note, like, Ned hasn't seen him for quite a while. Actually, yeah, let's do this because there's a little bit of history to get back up on. Okay, so I mentioned the Battle of the Trident a little bit with Daenerys' brother, when he was pretending he was Rhaegar, and the Battle of the Trident. Well, apparently back in time or whatever, the usurper, like King Bobby, was big. Like, we're talking 6.5 feet tall, right? And he used to use a giant war hammer, so we're talking just humongous. Apparently my cat's trying to get it. But yeah, like humongous to the point where like Ned couldn't even like lift it barely. And he had some reasons, we'll get into them in a little bit, to really not like Rhaegar Targaryen. Like he basically declared he was going to kill him for what he did. And he got so mad in the Battle of the Trident, like they were on their horses, they're like circling each other, and they just kept clashing. And he actually warhammered this guy so hard he caved in like his super fancy armor and stuff, because they said it had like rubies on it and stuff for the Targaryen house, because there's like it's like a 3-headed dragon, like he caved the entire armor and knocked the rubies out. Like by the time Ned Stark was there, like he was just dead in a stream, and Bobby's like standing over it, and both sides were like going through the stream trying to find these really expensive rubies and stuff. So that was pretty decisive. Okay, let's take these off. Anyway, so to the plot. Like they roll up, right? You see like King Bobby in the front, just rolling, and he's flanked with the guards. and stuff, you know, like they see me rolling, and because there's like the crown prince, you know, then there's Jaime Lannister. Behind that there's the imp. Then there's this giant like chariot. It won't even fit through Stark Castle and stuff. So Cersei and like the other kids and stuff are coming down, and Ned almost doesn't recognize him because he remembers, like, you know, the super muscled 6.5 foot just powerhouse of a dude and stuff. And now, like, the guy in front of him, you know, he's still 6.5 feet, but he's huge. Like, you know, he gained like 8 stones. You know, he grew out a giant beard to like try to hide like how fat his face was getting. He's got like super dark rings under his eyes. He's just not in good shape. But you know, they roll up, he jumps off his horse and he like roars and he's like, Ned, you know, and like gives him a hug and everything. And all Ned can really do, because like it's like they're homies, but he's still his king, he's like, Winterfell's yours, you know, and kind of diverts. And he doesn't like mention his appearance or anything, because, you know, like of course Bobby's sitting there like, you look the same, man. And meanwhile, like, it's like, you know dang well you put on like 200 pounds, but whatever. So, you know, out comes like Cersei from like the fancy carriage with like the chitlins and whatnot, and everybody's dehorsing. They like walk up, you know, Ned's like basically like saying hi and stuff. Bobby's over hugging Caitlyn, you know, like, and then everybody kind of lines up. It's kind of funny in the thing, because they just say like they showed the kids and then approved of each one. So like I just pictured like them like facing each other and being like, look, I made these, and then like, look, I made these, and then both of them being like, you make good stuff, you know. And then, but then immediately he's like, hey man, let's go see her, you know. And Ned like instantly approves. He's like, yeah, all right. And you know, like Cersei's back in the cut making a face. She's like, really, you know. And Bobby just kind of looks over, and that's it. Like Cersei's brother Jaime, or her twin brother Jaime is what they say, he just kind of like grabs her arm like, oh no, don't pick your battles, you know, or whatever, and takes her off. So they go immediately to the crypt, and the crypt is like all old-timey and stuff, I guess, according to custom. Like, it's all the lords and ladies and stuff of Winterfell, and they put like iron swords, you know, to like lock the ghosts in and stuff. And it's kind of funny. Ned's like sitting there, and some of the swords are like rusted to nothing, and he's like, yo, are those ghosts still locked? But like he just keeps walking, and they get to Ned's little sister Lyanna, and she's, you know, entombed. And it's really heartbreaking, and like things start kind of going together, because like before that, like Bobby's kind of talking to him, and he's like, man, this place is empty and cold, where your people at, you know. And Ned's kind of joking with them, and he's like, maybe they're just shy, they don't see kings, you know. And you know, he's like, man, we got to get you down south, there's too much snow up here. Like, you wouldn't believe the girls, man. They said they swimming naked. They wear like almost nothing. Once they start sweating, it like clings to them and stuff. There's so much good fruit and stuff. Like, because he's talking about Highgarden, and he's like, you know, stalls are overfilled with food and stuff. They're so ripe they explode in your mouth. Like, it's great. We'll go down there and we'll have a great time and stuff. And then they kind of get to, you know, where they're going, because Ned's kind of like, man, I think you've been having too much of a great time, you know, like in his head, like he's not saying that. And it's really touching, because like he kneels, but as soon as he kneels, because you know, there's like the statues of the people entombed and stuff. Like his first like thing is just like, you know, she was way prettier than that, you know? And then he's like, why do you have her down here in such a sad place? Like, she should be out in a field and under, you know, a fruit tree, and like get the reins on her and stuff. Like, you can tell like he deeply cares for her and stuff. And it's so hard, because like you could tell like that, like that's what clicked for me or anything. It's like, you know, he started pursuing like nothing but vices and being wild, and he put on all this weight and the dark circles and stuff. Like, the guy is totally heartbroken, you know, just in everything he says. And like, he mentions that battle, you know, the Battle of the Trident, and he was like, they don't say what Rhaegar did to Lyanna, you know, but they do say like I swore I would kill Rhaegar for what he did. And then, you know, historically we know that he found Rhaegar and hit him so hard he caved in his armor and collapsed his chest with the warhammer. So you know, he loved that girl. And like, it's important to note, like, Ned was a really good brother. Like, he loved his sister too. So he's like, look, dude, I was there, man. You know, she made me promise to take her home. Like, this is where she wants to be, like, with her family and stuff. And he kind of more or less lets it go, you know. And then they're kind of chopping it up. Like, they walk and stuff, and they're talking a little bit, and then he's like, you know, how's Liza? Because she ran away from the kingdom, you know, without saying anything, and the king says as much. And he's like, she's crazy, man. Like, he asked about Jon first, and he's like, I've never seen sickness take someone so quick. Like, we were at the birthday party, they were fighting, you would have thought he would have lived forever, and then he got sick. 2 weeks later, he's dead. Like, it burned through him, which I thought was sus, you know what I mean? Like, because he just apparently got flatlined. And then Liza and stuff takes off, and he's like, what the hell? You know, and Ned's like, well, you know, the wife lost the husband. Maybe the mom didn't want to lose the son. You know what I mean? And like, because I guess they were talking after that, and he's like, well, you know, I didn't want him raised by women, so I was going to have him fostered as a ward for Tywin Lannister. Now, I don't know exactly who Tywin Lannister is, but Ned said, like, he'd sooner trust a viper, like a pit viper, you know, to a kid. So I'm guessing he's pretty sinister or harsh or something. And, but like, he's like, you know, he's never taken a foster, so it's a great honor, and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, Ned, trying to be a homie, he's like, yo, what if I take the ward of Robert? Because, you know, like, King Bobby is like, I mean, he's my namesake. Like, he's named after me. I got to look after this kid. And he's like, what if I take him and Liza? Because, you know, like, I got Caitlyn here. They all get along. I wouldn't mind. You know what I mean? And meanwhile, like he's like, that'd be cool, but Tywin already said yeah, and he's gonna get his feelings hurt if we do this. So they're like, all right, never mind, you know. And he's talking about, the problem is, though, that kid can't run no armies, you know, like in the East, being the ward of the East. And Ned's like, whoa, are you gonna strip his title? Because, like, just out of respect for his dad, you know, like, they've always been, like, he inherited that place. And he's like, yeah, he'll get the money and stuff, but a 6-year-old can't lead war, man. He's the errand of the East, you know, like, I need someone that could actually defend me right now, and that's not him. And he's like, I don't know. And he's like, I could restore the title later, like when he's older and capable. But, and they start talking about that, and it kind of drifts, you know, like Bobby. So he's like, look, dude, I wasn't going to bring this up, but since we're getting along, you know, speaking of John, like, it's hard to replace somebody like that, like someone that you can trust and stuff, because see, John was the hand of the king, and Ned kind of knows what's up, because he knows, like, there's only so many reasons, like, he would come all the way out here. So, and it's just like one of his best friends, you know. So he's like, oh, here it goes, right? So Bobby's like, look, man, okay, I'm stuck at court all the time, like half the time I wish I didn't even win a battle. And then he's like, all right, I'm not really, but you know, like, I'm sitting there, I'm trying to like make laws, count coins, and so it's like, it's so bad, and everybody wants something. Like, they just lie to you all the time to try to get like money or lands or justice or whatever. And he's like, and then you got like the lords and ladies around, and they are just the fakest motherfucker like ever. They'll just tell you whatever because they're just trying to like kiss your butt, or they're too stupid, you know, to do anything useful and everything. And the whole time Ned's just like, you know. And he's like, look, man, when we grew up together in this area, because if you remember, like, John Aaron, like, he ran the area, and they were both growing up there, like, you know, Ned got fostered, and like, they were sitting there. Oh, one other thing, sorry, they also brought up that during the uprising, there was an uprising on, it's an island, I can't remember the exact, I want to say like the Iron Island or whatever, but there was an uprising and stuff. They kind of came together and crushed the uprising and made the king surrender. And then as part of the terms of that surrender, Theon, you know, Theon, the same one who kicked the head and everything, he became a hostage and a ward of Ned Stark. So that's how Theon got placed in Castle Stark. Okay, history lesson over. But, you know, he's talking and he's like, I need you to be my hand, basically. And Ned Stark, like, instantly, like, boom, he hits the knees because he knows, like, that's the king. You don't get it executed, you know, but, like, he's like, I don't deserve this honor. And, you know, it's his homie. He, like, drags him up. He's like, yo, stop with the your majesty stuff. Like, I need my friend and stuff. And I think, like, he really is just hurting, like, in his heart. He lost his true love. He's totally heartbroken, and he just wants his best friend around. Like, I genuinely believe that. But, you know, Ned is like, my place is here in his head and stuff. And he's like, I don't deserve this. And he's like, yo, if I wanted to honor you, I'd retire you. Like, I'm trying to put you to work. I want to get these people off my back. I want to go party and drink and have sex until I die early and happy, you know? And they talk about, you know, like, there's a bunch of common sayings, like, you know, like, the king dreams, the hand builds and stuff. And there's like one offhand one, like, the king eats and the hand wipes the shit, you know, or whatever. And, like, he's laughing about it, you know, because he's like, I banged a fish maid and she told me this. And he's like, ha, 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 right? And Ned feels like even the statues are disapproving. And, he doesn't feel good, and he's like, you could at least laugh, you know. And he's like, I'm not allowed to laugh, like, I'm a Stark, you know, we up here in the north. And he's like, look, dude, I need this. And Ned, like, gets up and he's like, okay, man, well, this is really sudden. Can I, like, talk to my wife and stuff? And Bobby's cool about it. Like, he gets it. He's like, yo, go talk to Caitlyn and sleep on it or whatever, but I'm not gonna wait forever. You know what I mean? Like, pretty much he's like, this is happening. And then more or less like that's kind of where we were at with it. Like I really feel like he feels super lonely. He had John around that he felt he could count on, and then he lost John. They left, and then he took measure, and he's like, I'm stuck. Also, he doesn't like his wife. Like he said, the others take my wife at one point, you know, when they were talking. So I'm pretty sure that was probably political or something in there. And like I get the distinct, you know, thing, like there's not a lot of warmth there. And yeah, he wants someone around that's in his actual corner, and he like misses the good old days. And I think he's just severely depressed and heartbroken, and he misses Lena, and he misses his best friend, you know. And then Ned is like, he didn't get locked in the past, so he's like, look, man, I got a family, I got Castle Stark, I got all this, like, this is my place. And he starts feeling like real foreboding and getting like a super bad feeling at the end of it. So I don't know, between like the direwolf, you know, with the antler and everything, and his bad feelings, and him feeling like the ancestors were watching and disapproving and stuff, like there's just a lot of importance against this being a bad idea for Ned Stark, even though it's his best friend and he loves him and stuff, because it's important to know, like Bobby's has always been wild, you know, like he's been known for it. So like, you know, it's kind of like when your friend from high school comes back and it's like, come on, let's go on a rager, and you're like, dude, I'm trying to get my life together, you know. And it's like, no, man. And then, you know, because he's trying to fill that hole, that broken heart, and he's going to drag Ned right with him. That's what I think anyway. But yeah, they didn't really get into most of the other people. Also, it was Rickon. The other kid, I think I said Timon. It was Rickon. So Ned has a bunch of kids that I can totally name. He has John, Rob, Bran, Arya, Sansa, Rickon. Right? Yeah. Got it. All right. So this was Tory Torrential. I love you. Thanks for watching my show. Like and subscribe.